What's good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one, I'm going to break down some very important information about Tesla. I'm going to talk about why on earth Tesla is currently looking bearish, why this thing is, continuing to drop down. But going forward into the week, okay, yes, Tesla could drop more. Yes, institutions are trying to drop this thing down with all of these like downgrades and things like that. But I believe later on during this week, as we approach either Thursday or Friday, I think Tesla's going to get a very nice bounce and this thing is going to start pumping again. And I want to warn you guys very early about this. So I want to break down why that is, what's going on with the current levels, what you should be watching for in this intraday update. Before I do anything like this, though, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take none of this as financial advice. And also don't forget about the Moomoo link. The offer ends very soon. Deposit $100 in your guaranteed 5 free stocks with a $100 cash reward. Offer ends in 4 days. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. All right, guys, do not simply look at this title and make assumptions about this video without actually listening to what I'm about to say. I'm not saying Tesla's going to explode instantly. I'm not saying Tesla's about to bounce or do anything crazy like that instantly. I believe when you look at the current trend on the 2 hour or even the 4 hour time frame, Tesla is still looking weak. Okay, it's still looking weak, and there have been a lot of headlines coming out which have been against Tesla. If you look at what JP Morgan said not too long ago, this caused Tesla to drop. Then we had Barclays saying the same thing, how they downgraded Tesla. They used to say Tesla would outperform the market. Now they're saying it's going to perform equally with the market. And we had other companies saying to secure profits on Tesla because it's going to sink. And now just today, we had Morgan Stanley come out and say that they're downgrading Tesla. So lots and lots of these banks, these institutions are playing games with Tesla, in my opinion. And what is the game they are playing? Well, I believe their plan is to just say all these negative things about Tesla, drag the price down, get this thing to drop and drop and drop and drop. And then, as this thing continues to drop, start buying those shares, start buying and buying and buying at the bottom because Tesla will most likely start pumping as we approach deliveries. And when are deliveries coming out? On Sunday. This coming Sunday, we have deliveries for Tesla. And when the data comes out, okay, you have to remember that typically what happens is Tesla pumps right before the report. So we might get a very nice pump on Tesla right before deliveries, maybe by Friday, if not as early as Thursday, but I would say more towards Friday of this week. So I am saying that Tesla looks bearish right now. It could drop a lot more. It still has potential to drop more. Looking at where SPY is, looking at the market, Tesla could sink, and we're going to talk about levels in just a couple of minutes. But in a nutshell, basically Tesla could drop more. They could just drop this thing even more. But later on during the week, near the end of the week, I think Tesla's going to get a nice bounce. And that's what typically happens before these big deliveries reports because of all the hype and all the expectations and all the attention that gets into Tesla as people start to FOMO and buy into it right before the big event. And also institutions like to play games and make money by playing games like this, basically. But the first one that was starting to sell Tesla at these high levels was Cathie Wood, and then all these banks and all these like analysts started saying that they're downgrading Tesla, Tesla's a sell, and that's why Tesla's been selling off. But this has not much to do with Tesla's specific fundamentals, basically. It's not because Tesla did anything wrong fundamentally, it's just what these analysts are saying. So what am I seeing for Tesla from a technical standpoint? If I close the extended hours, right, and we look at this from this time frame, you can notice that our major support zone happens to be around this like 242 zone, around there, 240 to 242. Break below that, okay, a clean break below that, and this thing will likely start filling this gap, if not the majority of this gap, or all of it, and come all the way down to the mid 230s. So I'm going to be targeting that if we get a clean break below this 242 area. There's a high probability that's going to happen looking at the 4 hour time frame. However, they may even try to just get this thing to hold. I mean, it doesn't seem that likely it's going to happen. It seems more likely it's going to break down. But for confirmation, you're going to be watching that 242 to 240 area just to be safe. If Tesla tries to bounce, okay, just hypothetically, I just like to be unbiased when making these videos. If it tries to bounce, it has resistance now. The next major resistance is going to be closer to like 247 because that's where the previous support was, where the neckline was for the head and shoulders. So watch 247. If it breaks above that, watch 250. That's going to be the next major resistance zone. We had a big fight here today. Tesla broke down. We're going to be watching 250. If it gets above 250, you watch 252.5, the 255 zone, so like 254.25 to about 255.5, like the entire zone right there. And then if it breaks above that, it's going to likely make its way closer to about 258, then 260, then a lot of these high levels where Tesla has rejected before. Now, to turn bullish, it has to get above 265. Could Tesla do this in the future? I think it's a possibility by Friday. Like on Friday, we could see a monstrous pump, or if not, like after deliveries, or the opposite could happen depending on how deliveries go. But just to be clear, guys, there's no sign that Tesla's trying to like get a big bounce just yet. There's no true confirmation of that just yet. So it's still possible for Tesla to sink even more. All right, so watch support and resistance. And let me just remind you that 242 zone is going to be pivotal for Tesla. If she breaks below this, if 242 breaks, we're going to likely see more downside. Let me just fix one little thing, guys. Sorry about that. All right, 242 is going to be key. If Tesla breaks that, we have more potential downside to come. The trend is still looking more bearish, and yes, it could drop more. But I just want to remind you guys and let you know as soon as possible. Yes, I've been saying that Tesla was looking bearish. Yes, it is, but things could change big time as we approach the end of the week because deliveries are coming. I believe Tesla is going to bounce near the end of the week as we approach Thursday/Friday. Specifically, on Friday is when I think Tesla is going to get the bigger bounce. Now, anyways, just be well aware of that. Keep that in the back of your mind. I'm not saying it's bouncing yet, just near the end of the week. And then for now, it's still looking pretty weak on Tesla. It's still not looking very strong right now. So just watch support and resistance and see where it goes. If it does get a break below 242, then we have the gap all the way down into the mid 230s that could get filled if it does start to break down. Now on SPY, I mean, this thing is still not looking that great. It's continuing to sink. It actually broke below 432 at the time I'm recording this. And the next major support is going to be closer to about this 430 zone. We're going to see a lot of bulls try to defend this area. This is a pivotal zone for SPY. It could get a false break below it, or it could even just continue to break below 430. I do believe this may be tested very soon, especially because we have Powell speaking in just a couple of days. Uh, if this does, get tested, if we do come all the way down to this 430 area, you have to watch it carefully. If it breaks below it, we're going to likely sink to 429, and then after that, we could make our way down into the mid 420s, if not the low 420s, to fill another gap. There's a very high probability that's going to happen if it does break down in a very hard manner. But for now, it's trying to base and hold at this level. So watch confirmation before turning into a mega bear or anything like that. Let's see how 430 reacts, this 429 to 430 zone specifically. Let's see how it reacts to that, and we will be patient until then. If it tries to rebound spontaneously, we're going to be watching this resistance around this 432 area now. We have some small resistance there. Then after that comes 433 to 432.8, the entire zone. Get above that, and we're going to be watching this thing push to about 434.04, 435.06 comes after that. And if it gets above that, we have the potential to push to about the 436 zone on SPY. 436.25 to 436.64 is the resistance zone I was watching, but for now it's well below that, so I'm not too worried about it going that high. For now, let's just watch the 432 to 430 area, see if we can try to get above 432, and if it breaks below the previous low, then it could sink a lot lower. So just watch this level carefully. The 4-hour time frame is still looking a little bit more bearish. It's still looking weak. So please be careful, guys, and watch all these levels carefully. Last but not least, on the triple Q, this thing is trying to push up. I'm sorry, it's still dropping down. It's trying to hold above 358, if anything, but it's still not looking that great. So if it does push up, hypothetically, you're going to be watching resistance basically very close to about 360 being the biggest one. If it gets above that, watch 361.37, 361.64, the 362 area, then 363, 364.69, 366, and 368 are going to be the next resistance zones. If it breaks down, it already got below 360, so that is a bearish signal. But the next important level is going to be the low it made of the day, this 358 zone, so 357.5 to 358. If it gets below that, it's going to sink all the way down to 355 to fill the gap down here. So watch 357.5 to 358, that entire zone as a support zone. For now, it's trying to hold up, but like I said before, not looking that strong on the 4-hour time frame. There's a good chance it may sink even lower, especially if Tesla does get a drop. But for now, Tesla's trying to hold up above 242, so we will see how this moves. It's still not looking very strong, though. It's not looking strong. It's still looking relatively weak, so just be very careful. And this could have a big effect on the whole market, especially. So don't forget the strategy of the institutions. Drag Tesla down so they can start buying shares at the bottom, then pump this thing up near the end of the week is what I believe they're going to do. And also, retail is going to start buying in and many other players in the game. There are going to be many different parties coming together as Tesla has a big event coming up on Sunday. So please be ready for this. Remain calm, cool, and collected. And just know I did not say Tesla is going to bounce immediately. I simply stated that it's looking weak right now, but there's a good chance it may bounce later on during the week, especially on Friday, maybe as soon as Thursday we get the big move, but I'm not too sure about Thursday. So keep this in the back of your mind. I want to inform you guys earlier. I don't want to wait until the last minute and say this. That's basically what I'm seeing on Tesla in a nutshell. And with that said, thank you all so much for listening. I will discuss more about Tesla later on. I will break down more in my next video. Thank you for listening to Tesla to the Moon as the long term is still incredibly bright, and peace out.